At this point, you are probably aware that the best thing that you can do to fight the coronavirus pandemic is to stay at home and minimize your contact with other people. But if you're like me and you're kind of going crazy right now because you know you could be doing more to help, keep watching. Staying at home isn't the only thing you can do to fight coronavirus, and in this video, I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff that you can start doing right now without leaving the comfort and safety of your home to contribute to the battle against COVID-19. I'm Drew Prindle, and you're watching The Deets, a show where we demystify the tools and technologies that are shaping the future so that you can better navigate this increasingly high-tech world. Okay, so I want to start by getting the most obvious one out of the way. The easiest thing that you can do to help right now, if you can afford it, is to donate money. Practically everyone could use some financial help right now. The CDC, the Red Cross, the lady down the street that sells pie and biscuits. It doesn't matter who it is or what they do. I can pretty much guarantee that anyone that you might want to donate money to right now is currently accepting donations online. But let's be real here, you already knew that donating money was a possibility. But what you might not know, though, is that there are certain things that you can donate that are actually better than money right now. I'm talking about masks, face shields, and other personal protective equipment that hospitals desperately need. As you've probably heard, there's a shortage of masks and other protective gear right now, so frontline healthcare workers are legitimately risking their lives by going to work and treating coronavirus patients. This isn't a money problem, it's a production problem. Mask and respirator manufacturers literally can't keep up with demand right now because we basically have all hands on deck to deal with this massive influx of sick people. And as a result, we're using up protective equipment faster than we can produce it. That is where you can help. If you have a sewing machine at home, you can easily start making masks for either healthcare workers, your friends and family, or even just yourself. Now, yes, it's true that homemade masks do not offer the same level of protection as hospital-approved N95 respirators. But the CDC says that cloth masks are acceptable as a last resort if hospital-approved masks are not available. Unfortunately, we're at that point in this pandemic, so homemade masks can still make a difference because they're really just better than nothing. You don't have to make masks for healthcare workers, though. Even just sewing one for yourself is still extremely helpful, and here's why. Digital Trends recently spoke to an infectious disease expert from Stanford University Medical Center who said, and I quote, "The most important thing to keep in mind is that the purpose of cloth masks is not to protect the wearer, it's to protect others in case the wearer is asymptomatic but still shedding the virus." Basically, coughing, exhaling, and talking all release droplets into the air that can infect others. So when you put a mask on, it isn't protecting you from the world, it's protecting the world from you. That's why it's important to wear one whenever you go out into public to grab groceries or whatever, even if you don't have symptoms. Masks are just part of the equation though. Another thing that you can produce at home for healthcare workers is face shields. Unlike masks, face shields don't actually filter virus particles out of the air, but they do prevent larger droplets of saliva from landing on the faces and eyes of medical workers, which is one of the main ways that the virus spreads in close quarter situations. There are two ways that you can make face shields. The first is 3D printing. Now, technically you can't 3D print an entire face shield because you can't print that clear plastic part that actually makes the shield, but you can print the headband pieces. Then all you've got to do is attach a clear plastic overhead transparency sheet, put an elastic band on the back, and boom, you've got a fully functional face shield. There are tons of good face shield headband designs on the internet right now, but one of the best ones is from Prusa Research, which has not only been reviewed and approved for clinical use, but can also be printed in stacks of 4 to speed up production. The only catch is that in order to make this one and most other face shields, you need a 3D printer with a build platform that's at least 7.5 inches by 5.5 inches. Or for all of you reasonable people out there outside the US who use the metric system, that's about 19 centimeters by 14 centimeters. Any smaller than that and the piece just won't fit on your printer. However, you don't actually need a 3D printer in order to make face shields. Thanks to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, there's also an open source design that you can make with polyurethane foam, glue, and some plastic sheets, all of which are dirt cheap and easy to put together using basic crafting tools. There's a link down below if you're interested in that. Really, if there's one thing you take away from this video, it should be that despite the fact that we're forced to be apart right now, it doesn't mean that we can't work together to fight this pandemic. There's plenty you can do to pitch in while you're at home, even if it's just that. Don't forget that all this 3D printing and sewing and donating money is great if you can do it, but even if you can't, you can still stay at home, and that seemingly small and insignificant act will make a huge difference no matter who you are or where you live.